So I am back on here again to talk about some more January 6th stuff. Here we are over a year later into this, and it's still some more stuff coming out. But today we are going to be talking about a woman by the name of Emily Hernandez. And she was one of the people that was involved with the Capitol invasion. And she was the one who actually went into Nancy Pelosi's office and stole the wooden plate off of her desk and took a picture with it and everything. I'll put it into the thumbnail and you'll be able to see it. But she pled guilty to her role in the invasion, but that's not all, because Emily Hernandez also was involved in a fatal crash that occurred sometime before that. And wait till you hear the details behind this. But I'm gonna go ahead and get into this article coming from kansascity.com. 5 days after authorities said she caused a fatal crash while driving drunk on Interstate 44, Emily Hernandez pled guilty in federal court Monday in connection with the U.S. Capitol riot. Hernandez, age 22, of Sullivan, Missouri, seen during the insurrection last year carrying a wooden nameplate torn from the House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's office, pled guilty to one count of entering and remaining in a restricted building or grounds a misdemeanor. The plea hearing was held via video conference in U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia. Hernandez is scheduled to be sentenced March 21st. She faces a maximum penalty of 1 year in jail and a $100,000 fine and must pay $500 in restitution for damage to the Capitol building, which prosecutors say totaled about $1.5 million. U.S. District Judge James E. Boasberg told Hernandez she was pleading guilty to breaching the Capitol, then going into Pelosi's suite and taking a piece of the broken sign bearing the speaker's name. Then he said Hernandez entered the rotunda and took a do not touch sign from the foot of a statue. She was also carrying a red keep off fence sign from the Capitol grounds, the judge said. Is that all correct? Boasberg asked Hernandez. Yes, Your Honor, she said. Hernandez was the first Missouri resident to be charged in connection with the Capitol riot. I'm actually surprised she's getting a year, considering this is the same judge who allowed that one that I talked about last week or 2 weeks ago to get by with his brain is not fully functioning and he ends up with 2 weeks in jail. Y'all know who I'm talking about. I forgot his name. I think Leonard Ridge. That was his name. Leonard Ridge. Something tells me they're all being presented in front of the same judge. Last Wednesday, Missouri authorities said she was driving the wrong way on I-44 in Franklin County just after 7 p.m. when she crashed into an SUV. Oh, so this just happened. I'm thinking this happened shortly before what happened last year. This just happened recently, as in this year, in 2022. This just happened. No wonder she's pleading guilty now. It says she was driving the wrong way on I-44 in Franklin County just after 7 p.m. when she crashed into an SUV, killing the passenger Victoria N. Wilson of St. Clair and seriously injuring her husband Ryan E. Wilson, who was driving. This chick was so drunk that she was driving on the wrong side of the road, and she ended up crashing into a car and she killed someone and damn near killed another. And she's still breathing. Keep in mind, she's the same. Also went into the Capitol last year. Like I said, the woman is a tyrant. Hernandez was placed under arrest for driving while intoxicated, resulting in the death of another person, and driving while intoxicated, causing serious physical injury of another person, a Missouri Highway Patrol spokesman said. Her attorney, Ethan Corleha, told the Star on Sunday night that charges have not yet been filed. They need to be, considering a person died and someone was badly injured and she was intoxicated. The Highway Patrol said that investigators would present the case to the prosecuting attorney once toxicology reports were completed. At Monday's plea hearing, federal prosecutor Jessica Arco told the judge that the crash was extremely concerning and devastating for all involved. Ms. Hernandez's behavior, if the allegations are true, indicate to the government that she could pose a threat to the public and to herself, quite frankly, if immediate action is not taken. Boasberg approved the government's proposed new restrictions on Hernandez. She now is prohibited from driving, drinking alcohol, and possessing firearms, and must undergo mental health evaluation and treatment, as well as alcohol, drug testing, and treatment. And she must also surrender her passport. So she can go to mental health treatment after she chose to get intoxicated, and then get behind the wheel of a car and drive on the wrong side of the road, resulting in a deadly crash because someone did die and someone almost died. And she gets a mental health evaluation. Had she been black, that's all I'm gonna say. Hernandez was arrested 9 days after the Capitol invasion. Oh, they must have finally heard me, because I stay calling it an invasion. I rarely call it an insurrection. Photos of her and her uncle William Mary Jr. holding up Pelosi signs were widely distributed after the riot. Oh, so she was there with family. Mary was charged February 4th along with Paul S. Westover of Lake St. Louis. The three allegedly breached the Capitol together. Mary pled guilty in federal court last week to theft of government property, a misdemeanor. Westover pled guilty last month to a misdemeanor count of parading, demonstrating, or picketing in a Capitol building. Hernandez was initially charged with knowingly entering or remaining in any restricted building or grounds, disorderly conduct which impedes the conduct of government business, stealing, selling, conveying, or disposing of U.S. property, disrupted conduct in the Capitol buildings, and parading, demonstrating, or picketing in the Capitol buildings. On December 29th, prosecutors filed a new document charging Hernandez with a single misdemeanor count of entering and remaining in a restricted building or grounds. So she has a lot on her plate. Between the invasion and this crash, she's going to be tied up in court for quite some time. 2022 isn't looking right for her so far, and it shouldn't be. You would think that after what you did last year, you would try to keep as low a profile as possible. But oh no, you just had to go and outdo yourself going into this year. I still don't believe that they should be giving her some kind of mental health evaluation, because if that's the case, everybody who gets behind the wheel of a car and they are driving under the influence and they do the same thing she did, they should get the same thing too. Or are you trying to say that her brain is not functioning well either, much like that Leonard Ridge? After all, she's not 25 either. She's 22. So they can still use the same talking point with her. I'm surprised they didn't go for that. But either way, it's messed up all the way around. She went in there, she went onto government property, stole, destroyed, and then she killed someone behind the wheel of a car and almost killed another. And she could have killed herself. Just stupid. That's all I have to say.